It felt like something from one of those end-of-the-world disaster movies come to life.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. I urge you, at this moment of national emergency, to stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
1 year on, and well into our third lockdown, salvation is finally in sight thanks to the miracle of the vaccines. Britain's multi-billion-pound gamble paid off spectacularly. But does that really absolve the government of blame for the missteps and failures of the last year? We are where we are, with more than 125,000 deaths and one of the worst death rates in the world, because of the decisions that were taken and the decisions that were delayed. The delay in ordering the first lockdown was bad enough. The government seemed to think we were immune from the global spread of the virus. But the dithering over the second lockdown was unforgivable. By then we knew the cost of delay. More than half the lives lost to coronavirus in the UK came after this point. Yet if anyone should have known the cost of delay, it should surely have been a man who came close to losing his own life to the virus.
I've developed mild symptoms of the coronavirus, that's to say a temperature and a persistent cough, and on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer I've taken a test that has come out positive.
Also falling ill was Johnson's right-hand man, who did what any right-thinking parent would do: packed his highly infectious family into a car and drove 300 miles to County Durham.
No, I don't regret what I did. As I said, I think reasonable people may well disagree about how I thought about what to do in these circumstances, but I think that what I did was actually reasonable in these circumstances.
For millions of people, this was the breaking point. The blind man of Barnard Castle, who thought the best way to test his eyesight was to drive while sick with his family in the back of the car, insisted he'd done nothing wrong. By implication, the rest of us were mugs for following the rules he'd helped to write. The failures kept coming. Test and trace couldn't trace someone in the next room. Care homes were abandoned. Protective equipment nearly ran out, and contracts were often handed to people who it seemed wouldn't recognise PPE if they were being throttled with it. Meanwhile, the people we clapped every week on our doorsteps were fashioning gowns out of bin bags. You'd need a heart of stone not to feel at least a tiny bit sorry for ministers who never expected to have to deal with this. But Boris Johnson has never hidden, not for one moment, his desperation to be Prime Minister. And you don't get to choose the circumstances of your leadership. He survived his brush with COVID-19. 125,000 other people did not.